Hi guys, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Very good, thanks. It is so cool to talk to you. I love this movie so much. Uh,
Oh, thank you.
I gotta start by asking, it's been through so many variations. It's been through theater and you've done it as a short film and now a feature film. How much have the characters changed since you first conceived of them?
Yeah, quite a bit. When we did it as a live show, they were we were performing to slightly drunk comedy audiences. So the show itself was a slightly more adult in nature. Yeah, Charles was much more boisterous, and I think Brian probably was as well. So yeah, we've made it much more family friendly compared to their comedy club origins.
I mean, the fact that the way the film presents them, and from what I've understood of how they were before, it feels like you can read so much into them that I mean they're so relatable in such a funny way for a story that I mean I'm in Canada, it's half a world away, but it feels so relatable. Was that part of the goal, in telling the story?
I think while we're writing it, we stumbled upon the idea of there being a kind of father-son relationship, and also Brian going through the stages of child and adolescence. So obviously everyone can relate to that. Either they've been a child or they've been allowed as, or they've got kids, So I think that probably makes it relatable in that way. And yeah, we talked a lot about friendships and relationships in general and how they can be really fun and then change. And yeah, I mean, I guess there's probably an element of luck to it as well in terms of how it came out. But we set out just to make something really funny and really just to get Charles, who's here by the way,
Amazing.
We just set out to get him on the screen. We just thought if we can actually make a film with this thing in it, then the goal will be achieved.
David, do you have anything to add to that? Because I know you two work as a team on crafting this story first. And so, what parts did you play in writing that together?
We did it all together, didn't we? We did it over, we spent sort of time together in the same room and then did a lot of writing over FaceTime or Skype. And so every step of the way we worked on it.
I think what helped was that David could, obviously, because he's playing the lead, he could, read Brian's dialogue. So we had a lot of fun writing the script. David could perform it then and there. So that helped us work out, especially the jokes. If we were laughing at what he was saying, we knew it would go in the script.
Back to you, David, for playing Brian against Charles. How difficult is it to play against him in this outfit?
I must admit, I find it really, really easy in that, firstly, it's funny. So I'm just trying not to laugh, but I don't know. I just believe that he's this living, breathing, well, not breathing so much, but thing. And I actually find it harder acting with human beings. They're a pain in the arse, but honestly, it was so much fun just waiting. Like when we were improvising, I'd ask Charles a question and Rupert would be in the other room and he'd be tapping away. And it's so exciting, the anticipation of what's going to come out of his, so much of the time, I'm replying to Charles with a grin, or because I'm just enjoying the whole ridiculous nature of it all. So yeah, I love doing it. Yeah.
Well, for you, Chris, can you explain a little bit about how this is working? I kind of think I understand it, but so you're in the costume, but then someone else is typing into the computer that then reads the dialogue. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so for the film, well, when we used to do it as a live show, I would be in the costume and Rupert, our producer, would be sat at the back, and we would sometimes pre-record dialogue of Charles talking that he would trigger, but he could also, on the spur of the moment, he could write and type whatever he wanted. And we would play that over the speakers in the comedy club. And that allowed us to instantly react to what was going on in the club. So people couldn't quite work out how it was happening. So for the film, it was just an extension of that, really. We had some of the dialogue pre-recorded. yeah, Rupert would improvise sometimes. Sometimes I would. So yeah, Charles is a sort of amalgamation of me and Rupert.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of working with Jim Archer for this, what did he bring to this story for you guys, and what was that working relationship like? Because I imagine you have this feeling coming into it that obviously it's a bit of your baby, but then how does that working relationship go?
Well, I think we were very lucky that we were friends before we went into this. Really, I'd known Jim for a while. I'd really liked the short films he'd made, and he just has a similar sense of humor. So I think it's quite rare when the writer, performers, director, and producer are not just friends, but they have the same sense of humor. So that just made it a lot easier for us to talk about ideas and work out what was going to work and what didn't. And he just knew how to. He had a vision of how to do it, because there were times where we'd be writing, we think, how is Jim going to do this? Well, he'll just have to work it out, and he did. Yeah, he just had a great way of approaching it. Yeah.
Well, David, for you, I know I've read a little bit about the fact that you found it a kind of daunting playing throughout this a whole long movie to play this character and everything. How do you get over those nerves to play this character, because it's really like 90% you really, and reacting off of the character of Charles?
I don't know. I mean, I nearly pulled out of the movie with 2 months to go. Like, the nerves were too much. I was like, sure, can we find someone else to do this? So the idea of, a movie sort of hanging on my shoulders, like, oh God, like, does everyone want to see me in every scene? It just felt like a real weight. But
I remember being relieved. I remember being relieved when you did turn up, and I was like, okay, he is going to do it.
Oh, it's made so much. It was lovely doing it with Chris and Rupert and Jim, and just he's so relaxed, and Jim just put me at ease. And I guess as soon as you get the first laugh on set, you can relax and you go, okay, hopefully I won't ruin this movie. It just feels like, yeah.
I think because there were so many scenes that we were looking forward to just seeing how bringing them to life. I think once we got into the swing of things, it's like, well, let's see how this scene works.
Yeah.
Well, David, you're fantastic, and so are you, Chris. The mannerisms, the dance. I mean, can't get over the dance. The last thing I gotta know is, are we gonna see Brian and Charles again?
Oh, if the appetite's there for it, I think we'd jump into it immediately. Yeah, we love hanging out as those characters, I think. So to try and come up with another story would be brilliant. Yeah, if we were allowed. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Well,
yeah.
Thank you both so much for the time. It really is a pleasure. I love the film so much. So it's wonderful talking to you both.
Thank you very much. Thank you.